I ask myself a question all the time: how would I like to fail? And by saying that, if I have a really good business model, got my overheads are at 20%, my direct costs are at 35%. If I know I'm sticking to those KPIs and it fails, I'm okay with that, because I've done everything in my control to be able to produce, the ultimate goal of 30% profit in my farming business. If it fails because of weather, I have no control over Mother Nature. If it fails because of the commodity prices, I have no control over that, because, as a commodity producer, I'm a price taker, not a price maker.
Welcome to the Profitable Farmer podcast, where we share stories and tips to help you run a better farming business and create your very own freedom farm. If you're looking to work smarter and not harder in your farm business, welcome. You're in the right place. G'day everyone. I hope this finds you incredibly well as we now launch into 2025. All the best for this new year. Always great to connect with a few of our FOA business coaches. It gives me great pleasure in this podcast to interview and spend some time with Jack Owen, Rick Morris, and Marina Gregor. Now, Rick and Marina both have significant sheep operations on Kangaroo Island and are highly regarded members of our inaugural alumni group. They've been with FOA for probably 8 or 9 years now, have been through Platinum Mastermind, have been real contributors in alumni, and we've just had them on board with us as business coaches now for 3 years each, I think. Their leadership, the example they set, and the contribution that they make is really significant. And likewise, Jack's similar, a intensive sheep operation near Ballarat at Smythes Creek in Victoria. Jack has been in alumni now for 2 years, but is a real high performer in our community and a valued business coach with us as well. So Jack, Rick and Marina, thank you so much for joining us for this podcast. It is always incredible to check in with our coaches and to hear what they observe across our community and the success and challenges they see our members facing and navigating. And then also for them to reflect also on their own journey and how FOA and our Platinum Mastermind program in particular, the benchmarking, the analytics, the planning, all the education and all the supports has supported them in their businesses. Interestingly, when they did their benchmark years ago, you'll hear that they all made significant changes to their enterprise mix to give them more focus and scale. And I would argue that a significant part of their business success is on the other side of that. So listen out for that in this. Thank you to the three of you for all you do for us and for all you do for our members. Marina, Rick, Jack, wonderful having you join us today. Thank you so much for your time. Rick, I think you've just flown into Geelong in your plane to land and see your daughter graduate from Marcus Oldham. You've got an exciting day ahead, mate. How's that for you and for Annie?
Oh, it's a very exciting day, Hutch, to have number 2 officially off the books and out in the real world. She's had an amazing experience at Marcus Oldham. I recommend it to anyone. Opened up an amazing network for her, and she's now, the graduates there seem to be pretty well sought after. She's heading to Albany in WA. She's working in the NAB business banking side of things, so she'll get a look at our industry from that perspective, which is fantastic for her. Very exciting.
Isn't it amazing, Rick, the opportunities that can be available to our children as they sort of carve out their career and their future in agriculture?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Super exciting. And for us as well, we get to meet people from all over the country when we come together for this it's a celebration. It's fantastic.
Amazing, mate. Well, congratulations. Can't wait to hear how it goes. Rick, how do you reflect on supporting so many of our members in 2024. I mean, it was a challenging year for many.
Yeah.
What are some of the highlights for you that you've seen some of our farming families achieve in the year that was?
I think the highlight for me, a young family, Brentworth, Australia, coming out of one of the toughest years ever in that part of the world. And because they've been able to maintain a positive mindset and are working through the process really well, so had their benchmarking in, they're attending all the masterminds, deep dives, doing all the work, and the opportunity is coming their way because they're maintaining the mindset. So they're getting approaches from people for leasing. We're getting approaches from people coming to work for them. There's an auntie and uncle that's looking to have them leased by their farm. So because they're organised, they know the numbers, they know this is a decile one, they're confident in their business model because they've done the numbers, they're doing the work, and they're really, really excited about what's coming for them and what's 2025 is going to bring. It's just amazing energy. Credit to them.
Perhaps a tricky question, Rick. You mentioned they've taken on a really positive mindset. Do you have insight to specifically what they do to support that? Well, what are the things that they've learned, and what are the things that they're actually practically doing to sort of have made that shift?
Yeah, well, they're just getting the right people around them, and the morning routine has been important for both of them. So I know for Tom, he's maintaining and dogging and morning routine, very, very committed to that. And it's just all the other thing, getting the right people, getting the right mentors.
Marina, great to have you with us today as well. How do you reflect on some of the success that you've seen our members achieve with your support in the year that's been?
Thanks for having me, Hatch. It's been an incredible year. It hasn't been the easiest of years in the farming world, so we're really seeing the best business come out the toughest of times. So full credit to our members and how they continue to turn up. They're doing amazing.
Can you think of any sort of specific examples of people who've made significant progress this year with you?
Absolutely. One family come to mind, and they were starting the year in a pretty tight situation with the drop in the sheep prices last summer. And the increase in interest rates. It was a tight situation, but they've put so much focus on themselves and they're refining their business model, and they've been able to turn this around from a poor situation into an incredible opportunity. And they just keep having great opportunities come to them. So, yeah, full credit to them and how they've turned it around.
Thanks, Marina. Jack, what about for you? What are some of the wins that you've seen our members achieve in this last 12 months?
Yeah, they've been unreal, Hutch. I think the members who are coming off deflated prices back at the end of 2023 and then come into 2024 and have a tough season, no autumn break or anything like that, they're asking better questions of their business, and it's actually setting their businesses up now to be able to capitalise on the opportunities when, some of our overheads do actually come down over time and our commodity prices go back to the decile 5 and above prices.
Thanks, Jack. So what's an example there, mate? You talk about asking better questions. I know as a business, we challenge our clients around that all the time. What are the sort of questions that you're saying some of your members sort of really do the analysis on and investigate now that perhaps they were not doing before they started with us?
Yeah, I think for any farm business going through these times, you've got two options. You can be reactive or you can be proactive in those approaches. So you can sit there and be reactive to the high interest rates or low commodity prices or the dry start to the season. Or you can, have one hand on your budget and be very proactive and realize that the business model that's sitting around your budget isn't going to get you through the year. So what changes do you need to make? How is the business set up? Sometimes it's a business model decision that needs to be made just to make sure we can get through the year and then reset and go again for the next year. So they're the questions they're asking, high-level questions, and realizing what we're doing actually isn't working, isn't going to be sustainable, So what changes do we need to make? Could be little shifts. One example in particular is a Merino enterprise changing to a dual purpose enterprise, just to inject cash into the business and then allow that business to then change its direction once the wool prices come back up.
Thanks, Jack. Marina, and then Rick, have you got a comment?
Yeah, just reflecting back on the November masterminds, like the questions that people were asking were incredible. They showed so much vulnerability in asking the group. It's like, what am I not seeing? What are my weak points? What am I blinded by? And the discussion that opened up from that was incredible. Like it could be something small or something massive, but people were really willing to listen and to make the changes to succeed.
I think Rick made a really important point at the outset about that young family you mentioned, Rick, and one of the key changes they've made is they've shifted to a really positive mindset for who they've surrounded themselves in. I think in farm business ownership, I think so many people are going it alone and they're asking those questions almost in a vacuum, Jack, where they're asking them of themselves with the skills that they have, without the decision tools, without benchmarks, without people around them who care for their success. I think what I love about the Platinum Mastermind program and the community that are moving through it is they do benchmark, they do budget, they do set down plans. But then to your point, Marina, they come together in mastermind groups and ask questions of people who they can trust, who challenge them on their numbers and challenge them on their plans and challenge the questions that they're asking, Jack, don't they? So that then the questions can be improved, which means the analysis gets improved. And then the decision support, you're in a group dynamic making some really important decisions. So for me, the masterminding, the benchmarking, the budgeting, and the groupthink that comes with that can lend to us not just asking better questions, but having the support we need around us to make better decisions. Rick, what's your comment there, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. And having the benchmarking behind you gives you the opportunity to ask those quality questions. Is take the quality of question to the next level by knowing your numbers and then really specifically targeting the things that are holding the business back. So that's where the gold is for me when I see the work that's been done, the figures are there, the benchmarks done, the budgets are done, even utilising some of the tools like benchmark, the coming budgets, and their quality questions come with that. So a lot of my groups now at the 18 months stage of their 3-year program, and it's incredible to see them go through a lot of squeeze in that early time. So perturbation is one word that comes, and that is different for different businesses. It could be personal growth they're going through and realising, asking the big questions: why? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Who are we doing it for? And then going, wow, I've really got to start looking at what's good for us and not trying to please everyone. Perhaps it comes in many different ways, and it's great. We're getting to this stage. The group dynamics are there, the rapport building is there, and now they can be open and honest and vulnerable. It's such a safe place. The mastermind, we know the conversation's not going to go any further, and sadly, for me, I can have that conversation within this group that I can't have in my own community or even sometimes in my own family because it's such a safe place. Very exciting. We're getting to some really quality questions.
Thanks, Rick. So the wonderful thing about our coaching team is that most of you have been through the 3-year journey and, valued members of our alumni. We've just talked we've touched on masterminding, having a coach, benchmarking, budgeting, and getting the support around you to ask better questions and set down better plans. Rick, how's your journey as a member of Farm Owners Academy and having been through Platinum Mastermind helped you and your family and your business?
Just to no end, Hutch. My conditioning, it's so much about, we talked about mindset, but it's so much about conditioning. So for me, normal farming was to run lots of different enterprises and work your guts out. And my credit to my dad, he he worked through the hardest times successfully, and he won't admit it. We've had this conversation, but he was burnt out at the age of 50, and he was encouraging us boys to come home, and Succession was right. Here you go, boys, get into it, because he was done mentally. So for us, we have then taken that on board, got the numbers, found something we enjoy doing, an enterprise that we're really passionate about, and simplified things. So it's a single streamlined enterprise. It can be set up, and excitingly for us, we're just committed to putting on an assistant manager as of only a couple of days ago. So I'm about to become the 0.5 and just come in for those busy times, and hopefully get around and see the wonderful clients we deal with, and see more of Australia, and do more of what I like. Me and Annie, we can travel a bit. So that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't been able to streamline our business and take on everything we learnt through farm owners. So everything's coming together, and super exciting for us.
Thanks, Rick. And how is it to be part of FOA's alumni and to have that community around you and Annie and your family?
Yeah, we found what I call our tribe. We found like-minded people that are working on themselves, working to be their best versions. Yeah, we just love the community, and we're passionate about the people, and we're passionate about the industry. We're passionate about helping young people grow and involve them and give them ownership, challenging us, but challenging them. That's what we want to get into. Yeah, it's an exciting industry. I'm not sure there's too many where you can set yourself up. Well, for us, our time in the farm was, we view ourselves as a custodian for that period of time, and we've been there for 27 years. Honestly, I'm getting bored with operations, need a new challenge, but utilising the farm then to set ourselves up with off-farm investments, and succession never ends. So once we come out of our succession, we started planning for the next generation and started some off-farm investments, and we've got ourselves to a position where we won't have to load the next generation up with any debt to fund our retirement. We'll leave a bit of debt for them, but that's all fair. And yeah, which is exciting for us, getting all the girls involved in succession discussions is what we're dealing with now.
It's amazing, Rick. How long have you been working on that as a family unit?
We got serious. Well, 10 years, I suppose. We started with farm owners, and I don't think we actually planned specifically for this, but it's just evolved. And yeah, I guess as things evolve in life, we now realise what we want. A little bit of work on emotional intelligence. I learnt that was a thing not long ago. So actually realising what you want and what makes you feel good and what doesn't, has been a big learning for me.
Thanks for your openness, Rick. I really appreciate it. Marina, like Rick, you've been such a valued member of this community, and you're now such a valued member of our alumni as well as a coach. How's being part of FOA and having this team supported you and Brett and your family?
It's life-changing, Hutch. We often hear there's life before farm owners and life after, but you join a community and you join a tribe, and it's onwards and upwards. I never tire hearing about Rick's story. I think it's incredible. Well done, Rick and Annie. We came in farming under similar terms. Previous generation were burnt out, and they'd done an incredible job to set themselves up. But yeah, it was like, come farming now or there won't be a farm. So we came in, I think we might have had 5 or 6 enterprises and everything on the go, and some we loved and some we hated, and they clashed, and they drew us away from each other at peak times. And so we jumped into the benchmarking early on, and I think we're up to maybe our 8th year of benchmarking, and we were able to make some big decisions. We were able to wrap up some enterprises and go at a few less enterprises, but at scale, and that has really worked for us and our team and our resources. And yeah, no regrets in the way we took the farm.
Amazing success like Rick and Annie. Marina, congratulations. And I think I've interviewed you before on this podcast, but you've managed to get your farm set up over time and structured and systemised such that you were able to have 3 months with your family in Canada. How is it to have a business that can run and work for you rather than you being completely sort of consumed within it?
It's amazing, but it came down to mindset and purely just the way we viewed our business and the opportunity we had in front of us. We always felt that we had to do the work and had to be the one there 24/7. And when we made that decision to go to Canada and 10 times our holiday, which was the best thing we've ever done, we just made that decision and we acted quickly and proactively, and we got it all together and made that opportunity possible. So
what impact has that had for your family now that you've got that adventure and that memory in the bank, Marina?
I think it's a wonderful foundation and a gift we could give ourselves. Like, it was for the kids as much as it was for us. I think it's opened new opportunities. So we're right now looking at our next opportunity, and pretty sure there's no sheep in the next path that we take. A lot of cropping, hopefully, but it just opens the doors to show that anything's possible. There's an endless amount of opportunities out there, and the mindset we were in before, we just couldn't see them.
So similar question as for Rick, Marina, what's it like and what's the support like being part of the FOA community?
The support's incredible. Like, everyone's a phone call away, and we've definitely leaned on that over the years during the highs and the lows of farming, as we're not immune to any of that. We've recently done some emerging leaders training, and we talked about building your support team and people who would challenge your thinking. And we needed to have those discussions with the people who made us feel uncomfortable, because otherwise we were just surrounding ourselves with like-minded people who would tell us what we wanted to hear and just confirmed our thinking. And we wanted to be challenged. We needed to be challenged and pushed. Maybe some people said we had to be pushed harder. But we were able to tap into that within farm owners, and forever grateful for those conversations that we've had, as hard as they were.
Thanks, Marina. Jack, what about for you? How's having moved through the Platinum Mastermind program and now arriving into alumni? How's that supported you and your farm and your family?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey for sure. Credit where credit's due. My parents set up an incredible farm for me to then take responsibility of taking the reins on that farm. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if it wasn't for farm owners and being challenged to look at the farm business differently. So my responsibility coming into the business was to just change the business we're running on top of that land, simplify it, making some very strong decisions for the greater good of that farm so it has longevity and it can give my family and my parents the life we want to live, rather than coasting along doing the same old thing, thinking we're going to get different results.
Jack, what's changed? If you reflect on your farm business today compared to 5 years ago, can you just give us a sense of how different it is?
Yeah, so scale was one thing that we needed to change. So it was not scale via land, so scale via revenue. What can we do to increase revenue on this parcel of land that we have? And that brought up simplicity. So it was around, let's bring it back to one enterprise, a simple enterprise that can generate a revenue and a profit that can serve the needs of my parents and myself.
Thanks, Jack. So each of you have talked about doing the numbers and analysing performance and then making some major changes to the enterprise mix that you started with and now move forward with. Jack, you mentioned there that scale isn't hectares, scale is revenue. I really love this construct that the scale that we can achieve on the land that we are custodians for is revenue. And it's a great measure around which to think about scale. So many farming families, and I think it might have been the mindset of previous generations is that we had to have eggs in a few baskets and had to have multiple enterprises. Rick, I find it so interesting in the benchmarking analysis that we get to see that the businesses that are running one, maybe two enterprises at scale are significantly outperforming the farm businesses that have three or four or five. And that's looking at return on assets managed and net profit and return on equity. What's your comment there, Rick, to people who are running three or four or five enterprises and how they might go about interrogating that?
Yeah, where it does work successfully is where someone or the leader may be a good manager of teams. So he can put together, or she can put together a great team if they've got scale. So they have a cropping enterprise, a livestock enterprise, maybe an off-farm contracting business. That can work if you can put together a good team. But yeah, maybe that's not everyone's skill. And so in that scenario, time and time again, we're shown, Greg puts it up all the time, how simplifying back to one or two enterprises works in terms of profitability. Just not having to pull resources from each enterprise to service, and Marina mentioned it, quite often you'll see operations clashing, big operations clashing when there's too many enterprises within the business. So it's yes, it works. That's for sure. And isn't it amazing? All three of us have very similar stories in our journey of simplifying things and finding something you enjoy and you're passionate about, and then getting the right people around you and getting the skills up and making it profitable.
Rick, I think people that have three or four enterprises might think that moving to one would increase risk.
Yeah.
Because you are putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Yes.
What's your comment that? Have you personally sort of had that experience or the other?
Yeah, it can be, old school thinking, in my opinion, but we see it time and time again, and it's knowing the numbers. So, right, times get tough. For our business last year, absolute shocker, decile 1 market, decile 1 spring. For my approach was, I just started ringing people that I thought operate really well under pressure, started getting the right mentors around me, knowing the numbers, but knowing the overheads in that situation. And just keep telling yourself the story that, right, the model's fine. We're in a decile 1 situation. We talk about being at least break even in the worst case scenario, 2 years out of 10. If you can still break even, well, the model's fine, and just staying calm. So, and knowing the numbers, doing what works for you in terms of getting your mindset right each morning, and getting the mentors around you is what's important in that situation.
Thanks, Rick. Just a credit to see how you're navigating the season that played out for you last year. As you say, decile 1 season following decile 1 prices, and just to see the way that you're navigating that and the perspective and the composure that you're maintaining and just how proactive you're being. It's just an amazing credit to you, mate. Thank you.
I work really hard on trying to take the emotion out of it, and Greg Johnson's the one I look to for that. So just being analytical and just reminding yourself, let's try and take some emotion out of it. Let's put our big boy pants on, look at the numbers, and stay calm.
A lot of people get to in that moment or that season where it is a below average season and they start questioning their business model. We talk about the fact that if your business breaks even 2 years in 10 and can profit 8 years in 10, then it's potentially a really good business model. How are you with that, Rick? Are you questioning your business model or just letting it be, knowing that it's okay, it's just in a tough environment?
Yeah, what helps me is punching the numbers, doing the budgets, and utilising the tool Benchmark the Budget is a really powerful tool to just help settle the mind and put things in perspective.
Thanks, Rick. Marina, what would you say to someone who might think that moving to one or two enterprises away from three or four increases risk? Has that been your experience or the other?
Well, personally, it's been tricky to wind it down to get rid of some of the things that we did love to do. But absolutely, as you say, the numbers don't lie. The less enterprises that people run, the higher return they're getting. So I say to members, do what you love and do it well, and you can make a good profit in any enterprise. So it is possible.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the fact that when you're running 3 or 4 enterprises, the enterprises can compete for area, but also they're competing for resources, equipment, and or labour. And that if you have 2 or 3 enterprises, it could be that you've got a full cropping plant that you're only putting across, for example, half your country or the other. Jack, what's your comment on that transition from many to 1 or 2 enterprises?
Yeah, I think to be able to do it, you have to have data to back you up. If you do it blind, it's a very tough process to go through. Like, we made the decision to do it based on the numbers. Sorry, I made the decision for the farm business to go to 1 enterprise based on the numbers. And then 2023 hit with a decile 1 prices. And you do question it. Like, was this the right decision? Did I make the right decision? Historically, the data says it is the right decision. Coming into this year, it definitely was the right decision. Prices are back up above average for our livestock. And going forward, it looks really good. We're predicting with our budgets, in 2 years' time, a 30% profit ratio just by having 1 enterprise, where previously that would never have happened.
Great comments. Thanks, Jack. So we've moved now into a new year, coming off the back of what has been a tough year for many. What's important right now, Jack, in helping people reload and reset for a new season? What tips would you have for people who are dusting themselves off after a challenging harvest or a below average rainfall year last year on how they can really strongly and proactively reset for the year ahead?
Yeah, I was talking to a farmer this morning and popped in my head the 3 R's. So rest, reflect, and reset. So coming off the back of a tough season, let's have a rest. Let's have a break. Let's, give ourselves time to recharge. And then let's reflect on it. Is it the business model that went wrong, or is it a really good business model that just had decile 1 prices or decile 1 rainfall and we couldn't control that? If you can't control it, you really have to let that go and be okay with it, because that is farming. That's just the nature of farming. And then reset. So what's the business position as of today after the tough season? And then what's it look like going into next year? Do we have the funds to, put in our crops or run our production model for the full 12 months? Do we have cash short flows? Anything like that? All those questions we need to reset and really strategically plan out the next 12 months. And then that gives you a really good pivoting point. A plan is really good, but we have to pivot within that season, and we have to let go of worrying about the future. We don't know what the commodity prices are going to do this time next year, but if we have the right things in place, we can easily pivot around those.
Thanks, Jack. We talk about the importance of 2 days off farm to plan your business and set down the roadmap for the new season. What's your method? Do you do that, and how does a discipline like that help you?
Yeah, we do. Look, if we didn't do it, I don't think we'd have a lot of clarity around what we're actually doing and what we want to achieve. So it's basically, where do we want to get to and how we're going to get there? They're the 2 questions we answer. And we look at every option on how to get there. What could go wrong? We ask ourselves a question, or I ask myself a question all the time: how would I like to fail? And by saying that, if I have a really good business model, got my overheads are at 20%, my direct costs are at 35%. If I know I'm sticking to those KPIs and it fails, I'm okay with that, because I've done everything in my control to be able to produce, the ultimate goal of 30% profit in my farming business. If it fails because of weather, I have no control over Mother Nature. If it fails because of the commodity prices, I have no control over that, because, as a commodity producer, I'm a price taker, not a price maker. So I think just having that approach to those planning days really helps our business put the right foot forward at the start of the season and, 3 times within that season each quarter, and really sets us up to be proactive on the season rather than reactive.
Thanks, Jack. I really appreciate your comments. Marina, what's your approach to planning for the new season on the back of a tough one? And what do you recommend for others?
For us, it's get to the beach. It's get on farm and break the cycle and free up your mind. Give yourself the opportunities to start to think big picture and see what's coming forward for you. It's a perfect opportunity to reflect on what has been, what were the learning opportunities that you had in the last year, and how can you move forward from those and utilize that learning. So there are all those failures or challenges are there for your growth, and when you're in the thick of it, it can be tricky to see that. But by getting off farm, we're definitely able to flip that thinking around and build a positive picture forward.
Thanks, Marina. So we talk about Clarity Action Plan, having that 2-page plan that speaks to your BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, 10-year goal, 3-year goal, back to 1-year goal. And then, as Jack, you mentioned, then that rhythm of quarterly planning. How important is having that roadmap on a page, Marina, for you when you do arrive into the planning to reset for a new season?
It's key. If we can get it out of our head and onto paper and communicate that with our team, which in my situation is Brett and I, we can see what's coming for us. Like, we may be running our own paths parallel to each other, but there's definitely that future vision of us both there, and it's exciting. We can build momentum. We can be so much more productive because we know where we're going. And yeah, we've lived that for many years now, and it's just a thing we've adopted into our lives.
Thank you. So you're recommending people get off their farm, change their environment, get a fresh perspective and reset. What's another tip you've got for them for setting up for the new season?
I think a learning from this year and from our discussion today is know your numbers. If you have that benchmarking in a calendar year or it's outstanding, jump in and get it done. And a lot of the focus in our learnings from this last year have been in refining your business model and being able to work through that with the analytics team. So if that's an opportunity for you right now, I definitely get that up to date, and that can help give you some confidence around how you budget out your year and the decisions that you're going to make coming up.
Thanks, Marina. Perfect. Rick, what's your approach to recharging and then resetting, to use Jack's framing, for new season?
Yeah, I love the 3 R's. That's a great. I'm very similar. We're very similar, our family, to Marina's, and we get to the beach and totally switch off. I love reviewing the CAP, annual planning meeting. So for us, it reminds us of our why and our values, which is really important. Encourage some of the members that are struggling with their weekly meeting rhythm. It might be an opportunity just to come away from a break and then try and find that rhythm. Try and find a weekly meeting rhythm. Keep it simple. The agenda could be just reflecting on some wins. Get your diaries out. What's coming up for the week for us? And then it might be a chance to talk about strategic or even personal stuff if they're a family partnership. The other resources I like at that time of the year are the annual audit. It has all the questions there that help us reflect and plan going forward. And I also love the finish the year before it starts as a resource to use to help think about some wins from last year, which is always important. Reflect on those wins, but then start thinking about how we can improve and learn from those and planning for the coming years.
Thanks, Rick. So for our listeners, I'm going to share 2 resources in the show notes. One is our benchmarking playbook, which will show you the KPIs and the key numbers that Marina, Jack and Rick are speaking to that we need to know, and how to calculate them to really analyse the strength of our business. We certainly do that through benchmarking with our members. And I'm also going to share the ultimate guide for 2025, which is that finish the year before it starts framework that Rick's just recommended, just so that you've got that as two key resources to help you set up and plan your year. Hey, team, when you get to a point where you've got a farm that's profitable and well set up and well resourced so that you can buy back some time, you get to do some things like turning your attention to coaching others. We're just so grateful to have the three of you as part of our coaching team, and thank you so much for the incredible leadership and the incredible support that you consistently provide our members. What is it like to be a coach, Rick, with Farm Owners Academy, and how has that been for you, moving your attention from really focusing on your farm now to really focusing intently on helping in the success of other families?
Oh, such a privilege, Hutch. As I mentioned before, we're so passionate about seeing people do well in this industry. We love the industry. It's an element of service too, so that brings a lot of rewards to give back to the industry, and just be a privilege. I just love getting out, getting on farm and seeing people do well in agriculture. Such a privilege.
Thanks, Rick. Jack, what about for you, mate? What is it to have created time and space to be able to turn your attention back to being in the service of others through coaching with us? How's that been for you?
Oh, it's a great opportunity that I've been given to be able to be in this role as a coach, and you can do it from anywhere. I actually done it from Italy this year overseas, which was an incredible thing. I was so relaxed and being able to coach farm businesses whilst over there was incredible. And I love the part where it clicks for them. I love the part where the light bulb goes off in their head and realize that, oh yes, we are running a business that needs to pay its owners. We are running a business that needs to have a profit. We are running a business that has to provide what we want in life. Those are little moments there when the members realize that, just fills me up. It's such an incredible feeling, and I get to help them discover that, which is even better.
Awesome comments, Jack. Thank you. Marina, for you, what is it to be a coach and to have the time and space to be able to serve and help other families succeed?
I'm just so grateful that the opportunity came to me in a phone call from you. I just worked out what my why was after having careers in ag, farming, banking, accounting, and it just clicked. And very, very grateful to be welcomed into people's families and home farms, and to be able to support them. Like as Jack says, you can see when it clicks and it all that big flywheel gets into motion, and incredible what people can achieve, and we get to be a part of it. So it's a very privileged position, and it's wonderful to see that the coaches are coming out of the members who have gone through the PM program and alumni. Like, it's the perfect path. And as you said before, like when we get our farm humming, and like with Rick, he's set his up so well, you look for that next challenge personally, and it has just been a great fit for me.
Marina, what's it like to be part of a high-performance coaching team and to have a really high caliber set of business coaches around you that you can lean on and learn from and be supported by?
Amazing. Like in the emerging leaders, we're talking about the culture that we create, and Farm Owners lives by the values and everything that we're passing on to others. So we're all stepping up and growing ourselves. It's up and down at some times, but a lot of confidence in our team and what we've achieved, and everyone is definitely stepping it up every way. So very grateful to be a part of the Farm Owners team.
Thanks, Marina. It is a pretty incredible team, and just a shout out to the whole FOA team, those in operations and support, events, our coaching team, our analytics team. Just want to wish you all the best for the year ahead, and again to thank you for all that you do behind the scenes and with our clients to support their success. Rick, just quickly, what is it to be part of FOA's coaching team?
Oh, I think when I first came in the first meeting, I looked around and thought, wow, in life you really want to surround yourself with people you aspire to be and the right mentors. And I looked around the room and said, yeah, this is it. I've found the thing that is really going to be good for me going forward. It's so important to surround yourself with the right people, isn't it?
Thanks, Rick. And Jack, for you?
For me personally, it's the push that I get. I love the support I get within farm owners to be a coach, but also those exact same people push me to do things so far out of my comfort zone that I probably wouldn't do them if I wasn't around the people that I inspire to be like.
Thanks, Jack. So again, to the three of you, thank you so much for your success in the roles that you play in each of your businesses. You just make such great examples for other members of our community to aspire to and follow. You're all just so progressed in your journey toward your freedom farm. And I think at least probably all three of you have actually achieved that and now get to enjoy life beyond having a farm that's completely reliant on you. So congratulations for being examples. Thank you so much for all that you do to support our members. Just one last question, team, if I could. What a word of inspiration or a comment that you have for your members that you're coaching to help them make the most of 2025? What's one tip or one comment that you would like to share or put out to your members to help them really make the most of the year ahead? Rick, can I come to you first?
Well, caught me there, Hutch. No, I just encourage everyone just to try and keep growing into the best version they can be and setting great examples for their families and their communities.
Thanks, Rick. Jack, for you, you've got a tip or a comment for your members as we launch into the new year?
Yeah, I do. I've got a quote on my wall in front of me, and I shared it with my members the other day, and it was, if you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. And if you don't step forward, you're always in the same place. So that
Awesome,
was my
Jack.
tip for 2025 for my members.
Great comment. Thank you, mate. Marina, for you?
The word opportunity comes to mind. There are so many opportunities out there, and there always have been and there always will be. We don't have to take every opportunity as it comes. If we're saying yes to something, what have we got to say no to? So opportunity and balance are my words for 2025.
Amazing. Hey, thanks, team. It's been wonderful to connect with you and to reflect on the wins of our members, the key things that are helping them really make the most of their journey with us and their success. So thank you for that. And thanks for helping us help them get set up for 2025 and sharing your tips around planning and, some inspiration to send them on their way. Really appreciate all your time, Rick, Jack and Marina. Very grateful for your support. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Hutch.
Thanks, Hutch.
Thanks, Hutch.
And there you have it, folks. A wonderful reflection with Jack, Marina and Rick. Thank you, team, for your insights. It's so interesting, and that wasn't necessarily pre-planned at all, that the three of you made significant changes to the enterprises that you run on your farms, and that's given you focus and allowed you to scale and really hit some incredible numbers in terms of profitability and return on assets managed and really lead the charge in terms of financial performance on farm. Great to have you reflect on the wins from our clients around mindset, around knowing your numbers, around having confidence, around strategic planning, and that importance of being in mastermind groups and held accountable to high performance. So really appreciate your insights. A shout out to everyone listening, just the importance of really knowing your numbers, the importance of analysing those numbers against some important performance metrics, the importance of finding scale in one, maybe two enterprises, rather than having three or four. The thinking is changing around the need to have diversified enterprises. Those shooting the lights out absolutely across our community are focusing in on one and two. And wonderful to hear, guys, how the support of the FOA team and being part of this community has helped you. Thanks for all you do. Take care, everyone. All the best, and speak to you again soon. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Profitable Farmer podcast by Farm Owners Academy. If you're new to this show, be sure to follow us. If you've been a long-time listener, let your friends know about us or come continue the conversation in the Profitable Farmer Facebook group. All the best as you grow your business and create your freedom farm. Until next time, keep being incredible.